And we're live! Welcome back to the Invictus stream. My name, as always, is Harlan Guthrie, and I am your radio DJ. Kicking it old school with my buddies here on Radioland. Oh, yeah.
We're going casual.
DJ.
Fancy.
Yeah, we're all casual now.
It's so good.
DJ Remix.
Sweet. So, what are we here for?
Who fucking knows, man? Alright, I'm posting the link, so they should be watching shortly.
Sweet.
And then we'll have something to talk about.
Well, I mean, we could talk. Your face is really fuzzy.
Mine?
Yeah. Maybe my connection, but
I'm just excited.
Oh,
wait, no, everybody's fuzzy. It's me.
Your face is really fuzzy.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Goodbye, moon man. Goodbye,
Okay.
moon man. Goodbye, moon man.
Overlay.
Have you watched Rick and Morty yet? Because that's the fun stuff.
I have not watched it yet. Is it a kids show?
It's not a kid's show. It's an adult show. Is it still fuzzy, guys? I know they said it's
Oh, just for me. But no,
I'm watching the thing. I'm fuzzy too. I think it will kick up in a minute.
Kick it up.
I do have a lot of stuff open, so let me pause this. Hold on. You know what? It's okay to be fuzzy because people are fuzzy. It's like real life. Aisha's first question: will Michael learn to talk normal again?
That is really hard to say. Even in between games, he was talking like that. So I think it might be here to stay.
I hope so. Definitely my favorite thing.
Oh, I can't hear Michael.
Mike, oh, he played with this stuff. You're muted, buddy.
maybe he didn't learn to speak again.
No, he's gone mute.
All right.
If he can't speak in a Boston accent, he can't speak at all.
That's true.
That's his lot in life.
Yeah, I don't know why he's muted. He'll figure it out. So there's a lot of questions here, obviously, that don't apply too much anymore, such as who killed Frank's wife? We know that one.
Sorry.
Yeah, you bastard. And
But a
you
follow-up to that, he did know from the beginning.
Yeah.
Who did?
You did.
I did.
Do
Well,
what?
you knew that I was connected to my wife when you saw the pictures in my apartment.
But my favorite episode. What's that, Justin? Did you know?
No, he never did.
The pictures in the apartment.
Right. Did that tip you off?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
you knew.
But it didn't tip Frank off. I knew that you were acting strangely, but Frank is just like, oh, he's just acting strangely. But Justin Meta was like, yeah, he fucking did it. And Jared watched her die.
No.
No?
No, that was a red herring.
Now I thought that there was an episode where you were Jared was sitting in the car staring at a picture of Frank's wife.
I don't think so. This is Henry's file. Remember how you guys all found files in Roland's basement? This is Henry's file. So it says, Henry McFarlane. Henry has killed Frank's wife. He has fulfilled my request. This has given me the leverage I need to convince Frank to follow me on my search. Blah 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 blah.
Oh yeah, I pickpocketed it.
He pickpocketed it. When he went up to the thing in the basement, he rolled a silent roll.
Yeah.
And succeeded at sleight of hand. Sorry, I should say.
Sleight of handing it? Okay. Yeah, I was
Which is
wondering
funny
if
because
something
we
like
completely
that
passed over that. When it happened, you guys were like, let's look at everyone's files, except for mine, for some reason.
Yeah. Well, there was a dead lady in the.
That was distracting, yes.
A
It
little
was distracted.
especially for Jarrett.
Who wanted to draw them? Hey Harlan, great DMing. I wanted to ask how much of everything was entirely your planning and how much was adapted. Okay, so obviously yes, there were certain things that needed to be needed to be planned and here's one of the major gripes, and these guys will agree with a game like Call of Cthulhu. When you're trying to run a 10-part series, certain things have to line up. Like you can't. Mike, if your headset's not working, try closing down the window and booting it back up with the headset plugged in.
Mm.
I'll send him the link again. Certain things have to line up because it's evidence, right? And when Chris and a few other guys were like putting together that evidence sheet, that was more so like, okay, well now we have to make sure that certain things make sense and line up because otherwise everything falls apart. And if you can start poking holes in one thing, then everything kind of doesn't really make sense. So planning and improv, there were certain important things that were planned, but I would say maybe 60%,
There was
70% planned.
a lot of it. A lot of it was improv. It was like a lot of it was improv with a structure. You know what I mean? There were certain
Yeah.
spots. I don't even want to say a lot of it. I just want to say that there were certain spots where you gave us something, a piece of information that our characters might know, or a suggestion for how our characters would act.
Yes.
And if those made sense, then we would make it happen. It was like a football coach, telling the players, okay, this is the play, do what you can, and roll with it.
That's a great way to put it. It's a great way to put it. Yeah, I agree. It is. It was kind of like, here's your mark, here's your scene, here's what needs to do, get anywhere you want, do it any way you want to do it. But that's kind of what you have to end up with. And it's just a problem with games like this. And in other, like in less story or investigation intensive games, then you can do really more with it. But this is what's difficult.
All right,
So-
anything yet?
There you go.
Hey, he's back.
So
He's
Mikey's
Michael
question
again.
was, are you going to be able to speak normal again?
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the things, because right from, I don't know if you guys remember, like right after game one, I was asking if I should continue with the accent or not, because even, like, I found it annoying.
It's not annoying.
If you remember, I was like, I don't know,
You had
because
to keep
it's
it going.
annoying.
You had to keep it going because, I mean,
Yeah.
there's people out there who are going to like it, and you got to deliver.
There's people out there who are going to like it, and then other people who are wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so there's been a bunch of questions that people have voted on to get the answers, so I'll fire through a bunch of them quick. What's the backstory on Edward's coin and Mrs. Stansick's pendant and the silver dagger? So the coin is pretty self-explanatory. It was Enty's coin, who he, unbeknownst to Antoine, he kind of entrusted to be the host, and there is a long backstory to that. And essentially how I wrote this is I wrote a story about three soldiers, Enty, Erwin, and Nietzsche, who 600 years ago came back from a war. And Nietzsche had this book that was like very powerful, and he was like, "Oh, we should read this." And the other guys, Erwin was like, "No, don't." So Nietzsche was like, "All right, I won't." And Enty picked it up and was like, "Oh, this is fucking good," and he became very evil. Then they confronted, which was the scene you guys saw. They confronted, they died, and Shub needed a host, basically. The goat needed a host. So when Enty entrusted that coin, it was a host coin type thing. Again, there's more to it, but without drawing on, that's the basics of it. The other interesting thing was, in the Dreamlands, you guys were meant to have another scene, which painted out in a very cool way, I thought. But it kind of showed them more as like who they were rather than just the three characters you want. But time-wise and interest level, it wasn't important. Did any of the other... Oh, sorry, so that's Edward's coin. So Mrs. Stansick's pendant... that was not a decoy piece, but it was a piece that I included to utilize for something that I thought would be needed. And here's a cheap tactic, and these guys won't like it, but I'll say it. To try to... I like bookends. I love the beginning is the end is the beginning, and I wanted a piece of something to connect. I wanted whoever was to execute the man kneeling in the woods would be the person who would have to go through the portal. And to do that, I needed an animate object to draw the power at the end, and I knew that much. So I put a few objects in the world to utilize to my advantage if the end came. So it's a bit cheap because ultimately, but at the same time, and even one of you mentioned, like, what are the likelihood of Henry betting with that coin? And it's pretty high. If I entrusted the entire storyline on the fact that he kept that coin, it would not have happened. It's just not going to happen.
And I was tempted to. If I had lost gambling in that one party, game, I would have probably said, what can I get for this?
Yeah. So the pendant was kind of a bit of background. The other thing with the pendant is it was just and it's funny because I had write-ups. J.D. Ackerman, the guy in the history bookshop, you could have asked him about the pendant. And at that point, I was secure with like at the halfway point, the pendant became just a thing to protect yourselves from the goat.
I'm wondering what would have happened. What would have happened if Henry had showed the coin to Antoine?
Antoine didn't realize it was a powerful piece. Antoine himself just kind of took it as a memorabilia. He probably would have thought, "Oh, you took it from Edward when you killed him," but he wasn't aware that it was a homing beacon, so to speak.
Did he not have one himself, though?
No,
He gave it to the student.
Oh, okay. So the coin there was just one of a kind, and then the tattoos. Antoine would have had a tattoo.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Which is another interesting thing because I did have failure outcomes. Had you guys not done exactly, had you put Antoine through the portal, you all would have died. Had one of you died before going in the portal, something like that, there were other outcomes. One of the interesting things in this world, and just to clarify for those maybe confused about the ending, the reason everything kind of rewrote is because there is only one existence of Shub-Niggurath. If Henry succeeded in going back in time and executing himself, therefore destroying Shub-Niggurath, it was never created, and therefore the whole timeline that's set into events got rewritten, right? So that's why these guys had a different path, because nothing set them on that path. Roland was never contacted by Edward, therefore he never needed these people, and so on and so forth. But had that failed, shoot.
Wouldn't that mean that my character would have never been able to pay off his debt, or would I still have had a debt?
In the alternate world, again, butterfly effect, minor things changed, and in this weird world, your baby mama died during birth. Therefore, you took more responsibility in your daughter, therefore you never really got into gambling.
Okay.
It was a minor little happy ending type thing, but I figured it was easier than just making you shit heads again.
Well, one thing that I kind of picked up on was that, like, it just, the entire mood of everything changed, like, at the beginning, everything was becoming more derelict and dangerous, like Arkham was kind of sinking. And I was thinking that maybe that was influence for us behaving the way that we behaved. That darkness overcoming the city.
Yeah, exactly. And I really like the way that you three each like tackled, and I'm sure that longtime viewers recognize that the recordings that we did at the beginning were these guys asked the question, you know, can you let it go for Jarrett? Do you blame yourself for Frank? And what's most important for Henry? And in the end, the Dreamlands, they each conquered that question, and they were forced to roll sanity, which is typically it's different. But I figure that makes the most sense because that's what's degrading over time. You guys were forced to make a decision based on the sanity that you have gained or lost, which is also interesting. What was the actual question, though? I forgot. Oh, this is a good question, and I'll let Mike answer it. Did any of the other Invictus guys know that Alex wouldn't be playing longer?
No. I think I can speak for all of us when we were all blown away by that. Yeah. Like as Alex was talking about it, it was news to us. So.
Yeah, these guys
it was sad news, but again, we understand, that sort of thing.
It was totally, there was no, okay, he's going to shoot here or whatever. These guys their reactions are genuine reactions where they're like, oh, shit. Does Michael have pants on now?
Well, what's your preference? Because, again, it's for you guys. I currently, let me get on, I do.
What was each of the Invictus guys' favorite memory of the Call of Cthulhu campaign? If you want to think on that, I can answer another question in the meantime.
Let's just take turns. We can do it.
Okay. Who wants to?
Personally, I mean, it's probably for bias reasons, but the episode where you incorporated all the different elements of the poem was really fun.
Yes, and actually, that's one I wanted to talk about.
Well, let's leave that then.
But leave that. Yeah. Okay, so that episode?
That episode was probably my favorite, but my second favorite part was when we were going to...
No, we missed the significance of it. Sorry.
Edward's apartment, and we had to get the guy across the street over. That was just fun. I really enjoyed that. Trying to laxative the guy and figuring out how that was going to work out. That was a good episode.
I gotta say, my favorite I would say my favorite was the first episode.
Hmm.
Because whenever I play a Call of Cthulhu game, I've a new campaign. Whenever I start a new campaign, I love beginnings. I just love the beginnings of the Call of Cthulhu setting where everything seems kind of normal and then shit starts hitting the fan slowly. And that one, I guess shit didn't really hit the fan slowly, but it was a great intro episode that kind of included everything, a little craziness, a little action, introduced our characters, and yeah, I thought it was a well-balanced hobos. It had hobos, which it got me the name Hobo Whisperer. And we didn't see a single other hobo throughout the campaign, did we?
No, I don't think so. No.
I don't think so. It was just that one.
Sean McGrath was without a home.
He was hostless.
I guess so.
He was making planet Earth his home, so he was homeless until he came here.
Mikey, what
think
about
of
you,
all
buddy?
the.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, think of all the times that I gave Henry money.
That's true.
Yeah, and I was helping Shub.
Mike?
Again, I think the outside of the game. Oh, see, I had a little higher pitch there, a little Jarrett sneaking in there. How immersive you were able to make it, Harlan, including the spiritual advisors, including the enigmas, including the poem, and having it all meaningful. Just the creativity level was just insane, and that I just super in awe of.
Well, that's very sweet of you to say. I would say my favorite.
Having the interaction from everyone joining in and watching and giving, like again the Excel spreadsheet.
Yes,
Like,
that was very.
It's all like it was all just so overwhelming.
Very true. I'd say personally, my favorite memory was, I think, I would say this last episode only because everything kind of lined up, but I think more so the rooftop at the sanitarium when you guys realized that the page was her dream. Because like I can't remember, it was like a few of you kind of, like I could see it kind of wash over you, like you're like, oh, or the scene where Alex shot Roland. I also think that was pretty fucking good because, again, you guys were like, wait, like you dropped character. You were like, wait, what? That was really good. Who killed Frank's wife? Well, we know. Henry did. Was there any big scenarios that the guy bypassed completely? Yes, there were. There were maybe 2 pretty big parts that the guys beat, so to speak. You just kind of glossed over them, but in a good way. You just didn't. You kind of got around it. They don't come to mind right now.
Well, one of them you said was the orphanage. The orphanage
Yes,
that we kind of got a hint of it, but you had a lot of different ideas for what the kids were going to do that we never got to see.
Yeah, there was a ton more at the orphanage that they kind of just touched on, which was totally fine. There was also a small like semi scene at a newspaper.
At the nudist colony.
At the nudist colony, yeah. No, at the Arkham Gazette was one of the things. And there's another one that's a big one that's not coming to mind. I cannot remember, but yeah, there was a few, but nothing. Again, nothing. And that's also kind of one of the troubles because you have to make sure that they're all making sense. But what did the paper say? Savini was stabbed. Oh, why did the paper say Savini was stabbed and Henry capped him in the head? Well, now we know because the person killed in the woods was Henry. Very Looper. Why did you find making the community stuff would be difficult, and would you choose to? Did you find making the community stuff to be difficult, and would you choose to? I don't know, guys.
Choose to continue?
I guess, yeah.
We're definitely going to continue. We're going to change it up. I mean, we're still learning as we go.
Yeah. I think Numenera's was the most successful because it let people, for the community-wise, because it let people create things every week, which I really enjoyed. This one, the Enigmas, were tough because I know, well, obviously, like some people enjoy that stuff, some people don't, which is totally fine.
The poem, I think the poem kind of worked. I like the idea of the poem, like the idea that we can create something together as a group, and I would be more than willing to do that kind of thing again. But I think something different than a poem next time.
We were going to read the whole thing. at some point. I think that was mentioned earlier today.
Yes, the poem, and I'm going to touch on that in a second because I want to know how many people do that. Actually, I'll say it now. For those of you, I'm curious how many people know this because I did incorporate the poem into the game. All lines of the poem, and I don't know how to do it. I was going to say guess how, but it's not worth it. The last one, for those who don't know, the one who won, Aisha's, was the poem that opened the portal. I'm sure that most of you got that. I just added a last line to it. Everyone knew that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. The majority of the poem, if you're curious, go back and watch episode 9, because the entire dream world was, all 3 doors were mirrored after, like, we knew that there was the shadow, the shade, and dream, but the things that happened in them were mirrored after the poem. If you go back and read the poem from the beginning, it starts off with something about cindered bone, and if you watch the game again, you'll see that these guys are standing in front of the door, and you can see the sky, and it looks like cindered bone. And they had to chase the ticking in the clock. All of it was taken from the words you guys wrote. And I thought that would be a neater way to incorporate than just reading the poem. So if you want to know where your stanza kind of fit, go back and watch the game, because everything that was written up until this week was in last week's game, including the last part that was voted on that game. I think it was Bob and Evan. Bob had a line about the sands, something like that. It was a metaphor. And Evan had a line about the seas being black and madness being in the seas. I incorporated the sea madness. And if you remember, the last door, they fell into water, and there was like a sea monkey type thing swimming. So
Angry flying shrimp.
So they did. So they actually did have a lot of. So all the poem was featured in the last game. Just so you know. I'm curious, and be honest. I want to know if any of you noticed that, and if so, how many of you? Because these guys did.
It.
Yeah. Did you guys ever handle a simple situation in the most baffling way? Yes, but I want to hear what these guys say.
Yes. When I pulled the gun out and I said, "This doesn't need to escalate any further."
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good. The other one that came to mind, it wasn't as bad. It wasn't bad, and it still worked. But before you went to Aunt Beatrice's party, you went to the wife's house.
Oh yes.
And you just did it in such a weird way, not a bad way, just weird. Like she was like, "Yeah, come on in," and you're like, "Nah." We'll find out information some other way. It was just funny.
That entire episode, like trying to figure out which car do we drive to Roland's office.
Yeah, it was weird.
Oh, that was the episode before.
We were lost a lot in that one. We were lost a lot.
It was the halfway point. Everyone was tired.
Or when Henry stood up and went and tried to put laxative in the coffee by making new coffee in front of him.
Oh my God, that was the one. You know what? I take it back. That was the most baffling because it made
sense to me. I still stand by it.
But yeah, well, it was just such a weird way to do it. Yeah. Where did Dr. Hardy go? Dr. Hardy. Oh, from the orphanage. Okay. So again, this was another thing that had a lot of backstory. Sanitarium. Oh, you know what? That's it. That was the part that these guys majorly missed. There was a whole sub-story in the sanitarium. Now, this was cut more based on time, but also they didn't really inquire, which was more my doing because I didn't lead them that way. But basically, Dr. Hardy and the whole sanitarium was doing a weird sleep study, and that's why he was so tired when they met him, because he was really keeping his eyes on. Anyone who fell asleep kind of went into their primal urges, and they went to the doctor's house, and he was stapled to a wall and skinned and shit. That was Dr. Hardy. When he fell asleep, he basically killed his boss and didn't even realize it. So had these guys went back and him fallen asleep, and he had kind of a whole underlab to the sanitarium where he was doing experiments on people and doing stuff like that. Again, that was more of a back pocket. If we were going too fast, I was going to throw it in. If we were going too slow, I took it out, and we were going too slow. So, but Dr. Hardy, basically, had they kept checking, Dr. Hardy is the sanitarium, right? Yeah. Because it says, where did Dr. Hardy go from the orphanage get to? I'm assuming they're meaning Dr. Hardy. Now, the other question is, if you mean Father Rourke from the orphanage, because you guys came him, he was the guy. Where did he get to? That was interesting too. That one was just one that you happened to miss. But had you hung around a little longer, a little kid walked in and like had an argument with him and was like, "I don't want to see you anymore." So he literally just poofed into non-existence. Just would have been a thing to kind of second it. But did Jarrett witness Frank's wife's murder? No. What is the backstory of Roland's "This too shall pass" saying on the lighter? Just a great saying on a lighter. Nothing to that. Not everything's everything, guys. Not everything is everything.
That too. Sometimes people don't know why they get it.
Yeah, it's true. Like mine. Does Jarrett?
That's the anniversary.
Did Jarrett and Amelia hook up, Jarrett?
Well, I'm gonna say, in this new future that we share together, yes. That sounds fun to me.
That's so sweet. Also, this is curious.
How are we supposed to get rid of that gibbering mass, the fog?
Hold on, this is my question. Justin, do you know how the game ended with you?
How the game ended?
Did you get what I was hinting with the staring?
Oh yeah, that I might not have actually left that loop.
Well, do you remember how you like really fucked up those rolls?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just checking. Who skinned Noro? We answered that. Why did NT take Nietzsche's last name? This was done by Antoine. Again, in the backstory, which is too long to really go over, but I can always post it for anyone curious. Essentially, Antoine, after his master NT passed away, wanted to make sure that he was with the body, and he realized that moving the body over to the States was the best way to go about it. And again, there's reasons why, but either way, he tried to change the last name of his master, NT, to Nietzsche because he knew Nietzsche's family was over there and they were trying to take him with him. So it was Antoine's doing, but he failed at it and it didn't work. Is Seymour Chapman the father of Dennis Collins? No. Seymour Chapman is the son of Dennis Collins in a crazy world. No.
Ooh.
How did Savini's house, and Edward tie into each other? Not sure what that means. Edward.
Savini's house. When we went and investigated, like the lady in the basement.
Yes.
And Edward, seeing the picture of Edward, I guess.
There's no picture of Edward.
Or a picture of us.
Oh, no, I know what they're confused about. It's the last name was Mason. Ella Mason. Yes, just similar last name. That's all. Again, just one of those things. How did NT's body make it over to the States? NT's body was taken by the Smithsonian. That's how they did it. They had the newspaper thing. How did Conrad get the bath salts? Conrad got the bath salts because he's fucking crazy. Did Marco get put in jail based on evidence given to the police? Yes, he did, actually. I think they mean Tony. Marco was the gym guy. Tony was the owner of the thing. Mm-hmm. Where did the Deadlight come from? Okay, the Deadlight was a module, and I originally designed this so that I didn't have to write every week because I knew 10 would be a lot. And just to put in perspective, these games, like paper-wise, like 3,000 words. I wrote one every week. That's a lot of words writing. It's a lot of writing, and I have other shit going on. Okay, no, but so
Really?
I developed. Well, I figured I would do like a module, and Deadlight was a module by Chaosium. It's great. All the characters' names are in it. Same. You can go buy it. Did Jarrett's grandfather learn more of the occult outside of the Castaway? Jarrett, what do you think?
Well, I'm gonna say, judging by his diary, he did end up investigating it a little more because it caught his attention, and once you see past that veil, you kind of can't look at things normal again. You gotta see. You gotta keep looking.
It's like breaking the seal once you pee, or once you drink while you're drinking.
Yeah.
How did Nietzsche find the dark powers in the book? Ooh, I don't know. To be determined. Why did Frank refuse to show if he had tattoos or not, Frank?
Yeah, thank you, Frank. Why is that?
Because it didn't make any sense to him. if I showed my wrist or if Frank showed his,
that would have
wrist or
solved
his
the problem.
ankles,
I might have stabbed you.
But it's just he felt he needed to point out that I would need to get completely naked in order for me to see tattoos. I'm not. If I were to put tattoos on, I would have put it somewhere else.
Frank,
So
your
I was.
body's
You know what
beautiful.
though?
Your body's
To be honest, in a game like this, I think that for me, I felt encouraged to kind of push buttons and make drama happen between characters. And it seemed like a good opportunity to do that because Frank, I think realistically, would have said no. And I think we all wanted to play our characters in a way that wasn't the prototype hero character that is always doing the right thing. Like, these people have issues and boundaries and flaws. So I don't know. I just saw that as an opportunity to exhibit that, I guess.
He's shy.
And he's shy.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree, and it was perfect. It was very well played. It was very true to the character, and it flowed well because it did create that doubt in Henry for sure. Because Henry had the most hide.
Yeah.
Well, in my defense, I knew my character had this horrible secret, so I assumed every other character.
That's why it was perfect. Why was there no mention of Enti before his death? Just records, 600 years ago. Doesn't happen sometimes. Was there anything to Henry not having a file? He did have a file. He sleight of handed it. I can post it after if anyone wants to see it. How did Dr. Webb know all of the occult things that he knew? Again, it was a module. I think there's a whole backstory. It's nothing to do with our story, but it is interesting if you want to read. How was the girl in the last name Mason tied to the story arc? She was not, just a coincidence. Did you ever think about making it and it was all a dream kind of ending? No, because they're the worst. Which it kind of is, in a weird sense, because they did rewrite the timeline, but their actions did matter, we'll say that. And we'll go to the current questions. I saw one here by Aisha. Oh, what would have happened if Henry would have been successful in sneaking the coin to Antoine? They would have died. Shub-Niggurath would have come into Antoine and basically would have been a super... Well, it would have been the same because it would have been into the host and would have been evil. They wouldn't have done anything about it.
Can we have pushed him through the gate and done the same thing?
Yeah, except the problem is he would have been pushed through the gate. Frank or Edward on the other side would have seen it as Antoine and nothing. Or even worst case scenario, if you killed him or whatever, it wouldn't have made a difference because the minute Shub-Niggurath completes its whatever, its amalgamation with the host, it rules the world. Either way, it would have been very, very bad. Are we going to hear an awesomely narrated rendition of the finished poem? Sure, Justin, you're on it. Do that something. Record it, add nice music, done. He'll post it here. My word, he'll do it. Did Alex not play longer because he just got married and the wife he didn't wanted to spend time with him? No and yes. In truth, no. Before this game started, Alex came in, and many of you viewers will know, and these guys will know too, that I have no problem with killing characters so long as it's for a good reason and they had a good point to it or whatever. But I wanted to also scare everybody into knowing that people could die and that people could be bad, and that's when Alex said I might not play the next game because I'm going to be busy. I said, well, look, play the first game and we'll kill you off. And that's what kind of birthed the storyline, because I was like, oh, well, I have someone now that we can do away with, or not necessarily do away with, but at least can be a bad guy. And because had he lived, had he won, you guys all would die. How many XP to make Michael wear skinny jeans for the entirety of the Star Wars campaign? Bad news on that front, Michael, if you want to...
He doesn't fit in skinny jeans.
I just like before Chris's wedding, when he made me do P90X because I was bringing down the hotness factor of his groomsmen.
Oh, I would never do that.
It's what you said. No, he didn't say that. I will not be joining the Star Wars campaign. Unfortunately, I'm going to take a little sabbatical. Because again, as many of you know, that I am involved in other things, and as of late, I've been missing a few promotions for some of martial arts students and that sort of thing. So next week I'm going to run a game of something, and I won't be as prepared as Harlan is. And after that, I'm maybe back January, February-ish, depending on timelines and how that sort of thing goes. I have to tell you, though, the other day, I was going through, and again, I watched some of Aisha's videos, and I was like, oh god, there's good times there. And so I will, again, be back if there's the spot open.
Always for Michael.
But I definitely need to take some time and get back to teaching people how to punch and kick.
He wants to do this a little more.
Well, there's going to be some of that, yeah.
Well, he will be missed, but there's your answer for that one. But he will wear skinny jeans. We'll take pictures and post them so everybody knows.
Let's see what happens. Or no jeans, whatever.
Or no jeans. How did you decide to incorporate Seymour Chapman? Was it to help move the story to the Astronomy Tower? Seymour Chapman, hey, I didn't incorporate it. He incorporated himself. That guy, he just came in. No, you know what Seymour Chapman is? He's Borgial before his brain got frozen. He's a schizophrenic break-off of his character.
I got to tell you, actually, that was a good part with him. And watching Chris and Justin, and particularly Chris, where Chris the whole time was like, "Oh my God, just shut up." And you go back and watch the videos and watch Chris in the corner. He's like, "Oh."
I'm going to.
And Justin's like, "Oh no, we're already gone."
Yeah, Aisha did it in the highlight video. Was there a possibility that Tony, if I remember correctly, seeking vengeance, might have drawn the mob into the storyline? With the timeline, these guys went through it really quick. You know, they went and when you think about it, this took 4 days. So yes, had it gone on longer, very well. If we ever came back to this storyline, very possible. Although they changed it, so I wouldn't see it. But no, it would have happened for sure. Frank would rather die than be naked arms and legs. Frank is Jewish and he showed his tats to keep it braided Jewish. That's not a question, but it's funny. Where are the questions coming from? Oh, yeah, they got them there. I had posted a poll video, not a call question, but are you going to drop characters online like you have in the past for Star Wars? Yes, we are. And Justin, I'll let you field that.
Yes, and I'm wanting to do something special. I'll give you guys a few more details.
I'm sorry, I just read your title.
The black one.
True though.
True.
With the Star Wars characters, we're going to be doing a character creation, and that's going to be happening, I believe, on November 4th. As long as everybody's able to do that, it's a Wednesday. But I want to do it special, and I'll give you guys some more info. But I'll just say that if you guys are able to get your hands on a copy of the Age of Rebellion book, it's a great book. I've got it myself, beautifully done. I haven't been able to find a PDF online, but if you are able to find one, you'll be able to roll up characters with us, and those characters may have some sort of involvement in the campaign.
Ooh. Ooh.
All right, so see if you can get your hands on a copy of the book and join us on November 4th for that.
Join.
Actually, I think from Fantasy Flight Games, can you not buy a PDF copy as opposed to the hardcover?
I couldn't find one. I don't think that they make it available in PDF.
Okay.
Yeah, and you definitely should not torrent it.
Definitely not.
No, but that is something that people do,
and they're wrong for doing so.
You buy them all, Harlan. Isn't that right? You have a whole stack.
We buy them all, yeah, of course. We're good people.
Yeah.
What happened to the Stand 6 with the redo arc?
That's a good question.
It's a great question. So, the Stand 6 lived a very happy life. Anna is now 40 years old, roughly, and walking in the supermarket one day, she saw a very handsome young man named Henry, and they, gave a little eyes, and now she is Emily's mom. I don't know. No, they're very happy, profitable, still very alive. They have a beautiful house. They fixed it up very nice, and they're cool. They're all good. Will Alex ever be back? Yes, he will. Not for the Star Wars campaign, but he will be back at some point. He enjoyed doing it. He's a newlywed, so he's just got stuff going on. But he will be back.
We're trying to convince him to run a campaign, maybe.
Yes, he wants to do a pirate campaign.
Fun.
Nice hair, Chris.
I know, right? It's the new...
It's the Harlan hair. You gotta do it all,
Looks like an anime character.
Yeah.
Oh! For Star Wars, what time frame will the campaign be set in? I think, what did you say? It's
going to be set right after the Battle of Yavin. So
Yes.
the events of A New Hope, it's pretty much right after that.
So Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back a little bit before it.
Yes. Is that Ash behind Harlan? Yes, it is. That is Ash.
Mm-hmm.
By a fantastic artist by the name of Rich Pellegrino, who also did my 2 masturbating lesbians. And a series of... He actually also did a picture of me and my wife for our first anniversary that I commissioned him to do. This picture is featured in the film...
Grand Budapest Hotel.
The Grand Budapest Hotel, thank you, by Wes Anderson. And it is a great movie, and Wes Anderson is a great director. You should check it out. Question. Was your choice of Elder God due to story or just personal preference? Personal preference. When I was doing it, I researched all the Elder Gods, and Shub-Niggurath sounded awesome. I really like the idea of a herald, the black goat. I wanted these guys to fear the black goat and be really kind of nervous of it without realizing that it's really just kind of a sign of what is to come, rather than the actual monster itself. But Shub is actually a girl, just so we know. I know. I made it into an it. I figured, let's not keep it. Let's keep it sexless. I didn't want to, hurt it, but. Does that mean Eric is dead? No, Edward Mason still exists, aka Eric Stanzik. Eric Stanzik is alive and well. He just, maybe he's still a boxer. Maybe he became a boxer. Who knows? Maybe he.
Or again, maybe with a different timeline with the Stanzik. Maybe they kept and raised him.
Yeah. Oh, they definitely would. Yeah. He's very happy. Very healthy. Very crazy, and stuff like that. So, who else is excited for Star Wars? Did everyone watch that trailer, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah. The movie?
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
I do think if we can swing it, we can make it a date night for us. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but I'd like to do that.
Well, I was thinking, I wasn't going to see it till, January.
I'm good with that. I
Yeah.
hate going to the movies when it's, all packed and stuff.
Me too. It's
Going to be a lot of kids, too.
boring. Yes. Wearing fucking Jar Jar masks.
I
I will
hope
have to punch them all.
you can't wear that, sir.
I want to go dressed up as Spock.
Just to piss off everybody.
Go up wearing all our Star Trek stuff and be like, I hope it's as good as the last one, man.
I still don't get it. Who strung us along?
Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah, expand your question.
Now I understand because it's basically because the past has changed. We were strung along. No, who strung us along? Why were we given? It seemed like someone was one step ahead of us all the time.
It's true. They're smart people. The outline of the story is essentially there was a vital piece that was missing, not imperative to the story or to the ending, but imperative to the story, sort of. You guys kind of guessed it early on, and you hit the nail on the head. You are each the descendants of the 3 soldiers. That's why you were chosen. That's why Edward sent the note to Roland. And the reason Edward brought you there is the descendants of the three soldiers were the only people who could stop or kill Shub Nugroth once she came. That's why you were originally meant to be executed. And that's what kind of set the whole things. And ironically, had Eric/Edward and Antoine just left it be, you guys would have continued your very innocent lives. The creature would have come, dominated the world, and everything would have been good. But they decided to get in front of it. They decided to try to kill you, and it put everything in place.
So sorry, okay. So they were trying to get us together.
Yes.
And so that's why they blackmailed Roland.
Yes. So basically, what Edward wanted to do first and foremost was to bring you all to one place to execute you. And he figured, in a very weird sense, he wanted to do it at his home turf. But there was also a sub-reason to it, and one of the things that is frustrating about bringing an Elder God is that the Herald needs to be there at the time of its arrival, the Herald being the Black Goat. Well, when you guys were back in time, you saw that the Black Goat stayed with Nietzsche rather than the coin, which is what Enti had wanted. The Black Goat went into Nietzsche because he was the one who killed Enti. Therefore, Black Goat enters Enti, Enti gets killed by Nietzsche, Black Goat goes into Nietzsche. So, the Herald, the whole crux to bring the creature into this world, rested with Nietzsche. Now, here's where it gets confusing.
Oh, now? Okay, thanks.
When they dug up Nietzsche's body, it released the Black Goat, which is what tormented Conrad. But it lingered. It lingered in that area. Edward needed to spill the blood of the ancestors to reaffirm the Herald. And what most likely would have happened is the minute whichever one of you was the descendant of Enti or Nietzsche, he would have cut off your head, taken it with you, went to that cave you guys ended up at, and just kept it there until the time came. It would have used that, and the goat would have then appeared because of that head. It would have been drawn to it. The curveball, so to speak, was the coin. It followed the coin rather than the blood because it was a stronger connection, being that Enti had summoned it. Therefore, when you guys were traveling through the town, it was kind of attracted to both of those.
Okay.
So long story short, there is more to it, but again, I mean, it's...
Like, where was Sarah being kept the whole time?
So that's the other thing, too. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Had you guys failed, but survived in a way, because there was a way that you could have at least, saved some time, you would have found out that Sarah was the next branded to become Antoine's sub-person. So had you gone in front of the gate first, you would have seen a little... singed mark or a tattoo within her. But she came in as a few different reasons, one of them just kind of being a story issue, but one of them also being the fact that they needed leverage on Roland, and they weren't just going to kill the little girl because once Edward passed away, Antoine needed a new second in command. And Sarah's just a cute one. Probably. Reminder, what was Chris's favorite part? Chris, what was your favorite part again?
Again, it was the poem episode, so episode 9. And then before that, it was the episode where we needed to go and have the hot dog vendor leave so that way we could go into Edward's apartment, which meant we need to date rape the the mafia guy. And by date rape, I mean give him laxatives so that he was stuck on the toilet.
Yeah, that was the best version of date raping.
So,
yes, are you worried that you outdid yourself this campaign? Should you have another Call of Cthulhu campaign next year? No, I'm not worried. No, but no, I don't think we'll probably come back to Call of Cthulhu. At least I won't.
Not for a while, at least.
No, sorry?
Not for a while, at least.
No, like put it this way, I really enjoy Call of Cthulhu. I think it's tough it's tough to run, and it is also tough to play to an extent because it is very intensive. It's an investigative game. It's about also at the same time sometimes you just want to get on and hack and slash a little bit. So And that's kind of the line. Now, if the next year we run and we do a lot of hack and slash, maybe we'll bring something in. I'd be more interested in like a Vampire Masquerade because it's also similar but less investigative intensive, just more like social politics and things, at least from what I've read. So, yeah, no, I'm going to say that we probably won't run. We won't have to worry about beating ourselves because I don't think we'll be running Call of Cthulhu again in a long time. Or if we do, it'll be a really fucking. The only reason we'll run it is if I think of a really cool idea that will like kind of maybe not include the same characters, but maybe like tie into this because I think that would be fucking cool if like you played 3 versions of Seymour Chapman. I'm Seymour Chapman Jr.
You can cut someone's ears off first.
Yeah.
Now back in the year 1972. Blah, blah, blah.
Yes, exactly. So, and I guess one of the things I would like to ask real quick, because we're coming up on 11, is what did you guys think? I'm asking that question right now. What did you guys think as the viewers? Was it something that you enjoyed watching along? Was it something that you got confused? Oh, this one I would like to know, actually. I used to just ask this. How did the players think this game was going to end? How did you guys think it was going to end? I'm interested in that.
I thought I was gonna die. I was actually thinking that. Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about my character's survival the whole time. I did not know how it was gonna end. I figured it was gonna be a sad ending, like an unhappy ending, like it was gonna end with Edward Mason with Henry being like, "Haha, I've got you," blah 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 blah.
I was the entire time thinking that some of my other party members were going to do something. I think just because of Edward from the beginning, there was going to be all these dark secrets that my party members, like my little girl, I didn't know where Emily was this entire game. I assumed she was somewhere safe, but could have turned out that she was in Jared's basement or something like that. And that wouldn't have surprised me at all.
But
That's
just
also
for
interesting. You never went to Emily's. I had stuff written if you went home, but you never checked on it.
Yeah, what a father.
Not a big deal, you know.
It's only 4 days.
Yeah. Exactly. It really wasn't that long. What about you, Mike? How did you think it was going to end?
Originally as a 3-way in the grave.
I can see that.
No, actually, I honestly thought it was going to end right there as Henry was floating through the portal, watching us be slashed and hacked up. But
yes.
I was like just game-wise. Holy fuck! I'm brain farting. What's it called when you're outside the game looking at
metagaming?
That's what I'm talking about. Again, I only had 3 hit points for like the last 3 sessions, and so again, if you had have done damage on the throat, I would have been dead.
Well, and that
right. There's so many times where he throws me to the ground. Oh, well, guess what? I hit my head on a rock. Yeah, so I honestly thought it was going to end right there with the Henry watching us be slashed and hacked up.
And it very well might have.
You know, that was the first time I've played a Call of Cthulhu game long enough that the stats actually increased significantly.
Yes,
that's true.
Me too, actually.
Usually we play it in like 2-3 sessions, and the leveling system is superfluous, but this one actually made a difference.
Yeah, it's true. It did, actually. Oh, and I got to say that, too. There was a very good rolling parts for you two, Henry and Mike. With the sanity rolls, you guys both got like just under your sanity, like 30 and 35, and I was like, shit, like you guys just fucking made it. And then Justin was. Had you guys all lost, yeah, you would have been lost in Dreamlands. And I had a pretty nice, eloquent ending to end it in the Dreamlands. It would have been a bummer because like all the really cool ending shit that I figured out, it wouldn't come together. But I was like, you know, if you go crazy, you go crazy. What are you gonna do? But no, you guys lucked out. You guys were very, very lucky with what you did. Tori asked, we need a close-up of that lovely painting, and I'm going to assume it's two lesbians masturbating you're talking about. Gross, girl. You got a dirty mind. But that's okay. We'll screenshot it rather than me having to actually physically get up and move. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is two ladies masturbating.
It's just so uncomfortable.
It is kind of. How do they use it in the movie? I still haven't seen it.
My wife was when I said I wanted to buy it, she was like, because she loves
Art.
Well, she loves the artist, as do I, but and she loves Wes Anderson. But every time she sees it, she's like, it just makes me feel uncomfortable. This is the scene in the movie where they do it. The whole point of the movie, or at least a large portion of the film, is that they take this painting, which is worth a lot of money after their father dies or something, and when they steal it, or so it's a woman, and he inherits the painting, he's supposed to get it. After they steal it, it's called Boy with Apple, they replace it with that one. It's a very small, minor shot, but it is hilarious. And
memorable.
And very memorable. I remember seeing it and thinking immediately. And I messaged him, Rich Pellegrino, I was like, hey, can I buy this yet? And he was like, no, it's not available. But I did have him draw a picture of my wife and I for our wedding anniversary, and this is the one that he did as well. He's a great artist. I highly recommend him. Very cool. He does a lot of pop culture images. So, gross question, Tori. Thanks a lot. Had to make everybody uncomfortable with that really hairy drawing.
Well, don't speak for all of us.
No, that's true. I love it. It's right behind me. This is a Call of Cthulhu picture, by the way. No one noticed this, but it's the mythos, like deity scale. They're all labeled in there for all the interesting people. All of our backgrounds are very interesting, Mike especially, but.
My curtains? Yeah,
well, you got rid of you had all these like tiny little things.
Oh yeah. I switched rooms.
Aisha for Mike. My last question is to Michael. How did you like being the Sean Bean of the RPG world? So true.
It is. I'm noticing the pattern.
You know what's funny? I was looking at some of the comments the other day, and people either loved Mike's character or hated him.
It was very polarized.
Favorite character, or found his voice so annoying. It's like
perfect. Well, honestly, like I said, I'm siding with the guys that found it annoying.
No, like I said, there are two options. Either you loved his voice, or you're wrong, and that's it. We should play Find Out What's in Backgrounds. This is a med pack from Left. Justin, do you know what this is for?
I think it's only fun for your house.
I have a lot of stuff. I have another Bruce Campbell painting in the corner that my wife did that I never pull out. I should change my background and everything. Down there is my wife's eyes. You can see her. See right here?
Yeah.
I think you should hide things in the room and see what's the new thing.
There are. Look, there's a picture of me as a kid right there.
Yeah.
Drawn. And there's a paper bag version of me. And
here, there's the Spider-Man thing I gave you.
Shut the fuck up. Who's this? Does anyone know who this is?
I'm pretty sure that's Hank Williams there. That's country singer.
No, it's Johnny Cash.
So there you go.
Williams. Hank Williams was known for giving the finger. No, Hank Snow. I've been everywhere, man. Ding, diddling, ding. You know.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's really Johnny Cash.
Yeah, and Johnny Cash saying I've been everywhere, man.
Yeah, he did.
But he
I was actually going to say, I put an Easter egg out there today. I told Harlan.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me.
The picture of the coffee, I don't know if anyone noticed, I changed the label on it. The name of the coffee is The Three Soldiers.
Well, the stream is really good at picking up those kinds of things. Like, they noticed the painting the first time you changed it. And they also noticed in the Kingdom Death Monster video,
I'm a big fan of tiny little things.
Yeah.
There were actually a lot littered throughout this campaign that had little things that were very interesting. See if any of them are found in a few years when people do it. Anyway, that is it from us. I do not think there are any more questions. Again, just to reiterate what's going on, next week Mike is going to be running the game. I myself will not be here, so these three stooges will be running it. And then afterwards, we are going to be starting character creation on Star Wars Age of Rebellion. It's a trap.
And there is a trailer on YouTube
Yes.
for that, so check that out. It's just a hype trailer, nothing too crazy, but I don't know, puts me in the mood, you know. So
It puts you in the mood.
a lot of things do, Harlan. You know that.
I do. No, I do. Like, I put you in the mood.
Yeah, you do.
And the last little thing, Easter egg, is this book that I constantly read.
Yeah, which
There's nothing in it.
There's nothing in it. It was a gift from Edward Mason, my brother. Yeah, guys, there's nothing in it. But that's not true, actually. It's the whole outline of Call of Cthulhu. It's what I did. It's what I did for everything.
All right, well, we got to leave them some Easter eggs.
Episode 2, right here. Have an open grave into the woods. Alex's death speaks to something. This is game 2, guys. There's some good stuff in there. I had one about a comet. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic night. Thank you again. Let's do a round of applause real quick.
again, thank you, everyone.
Guys, this has been such a great time. It has been a blast playing for you, playing with you, and humbly, you have our thanks. Please, 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 stay classy. And as Chris always likes to say,
See you around the table, guys.
see you around the table, guys. Good night.
Good night.